Guys, as we all know, Amy Slaton is in the process of getting divorced, and a new man already has his sights set on her. He seems completely in love with her, but how he's been acting is honestly alarming and scary. I mean, he's pretty much been stalking her, and the strange details behind what he's been doing are seriously creepy and will probably leave you guys speechless. So Amy is officially back on the dating market, and someone new has made it loud and clear that he is interested. So Josh, who was originally on The Bachelorette, has been trying to pursue Amy in a really weird way. So he already has a reputation for being, in these weird relationship stunts, but what's been happening lately is just going to leave you pretty shocked. So Josh apparently slid into Amy's DMs and started posting flirty comments on her Instagram post, but that didn't get him an immediate response, and what he did next was just creepy. So even though Amy hadn't responded to any of his messages, Josh decided to make the 4-hour drive from Illinois to her hometown in Dixon, Kentucky, and he made it very clear this wasn't just a casual trip, not by a mile, because Josh documented how he was preparing to sweep Amy off her feet on his Instagram, and it was definitely over the top, and he was planning on wearing a black suit and surprising her with a bunch of presents that just seemed really bizarre, and Josh wanted to personally give Amy some McDonald's breakfast, Rice Krispie treats, Sour Patch Kids, half a dozen roses, and a card. But as strange as that might sound, it's not even the craziest part. So despite never having actually talked to Amy at all, Josh even brought along 2 stuffed teddy bears for her young sons. And instead of letting her know that he was at a public place to meet up, for the first time, you'll never guess what he decided to do. So shockingly, Josh actually showed up at Amy's house completely uninvited. And I feel like most people would know that that was a huge invasion of privacy, but Josh's perspective on what went down was truly unbelievable, because according to The Sun, Josh was disappointed that Amy didn't answer when he showed up unannounced and knocked on her door, and he claimed that he left the gifts outside her door, but not before leaving a pretty weird note in the card. So in the card, Josh told Amy to respond to his Instagram messages, and he also mentioned that he'd stop by to say hi, but he clearly wasn't about to give up, and what he was planning to do next was just insane. So Josh was convinced that he could win over Amy, and in fact, he was already talking about making the long drive to her house again if she continued to ignore him. And I mean, it's like, talk about stalker, but Josh really seemed to believe that Amy wouldn't be able to refuse him, and he wasn't respecting her lack of interaction at all. And I mean, who in their right mind shows up at a stranger's private residence without any notice? And he even tried to justify his actions in just a weird way. So Josh ended up revealing to The Sun that he was just trying to be supportive of Amy, and he added that he felt like she had such a good soul and he wanted to be there for her. But that's not all he had in mind, because the rest was really just unreal, because Josh claimed that he didn't just want to date Amy, he wanted to help her and her sister Tammy get healthy, and he explained that he would encourage them to exercise and eat better. But not surprisingly, he immediately found himself in unbelievably hot water, because ever since the article was published, some people on social media have been criticizing Josh for doing way too much and being insanely creepy. And Josh doesn't seem to want to be with Amy for the right reasons. He shouldn't be trying to get involved with her lifestyle choices without even actually knowing her, and he definitely shouldn't have, shown up uninvited at her house. Just because Amy put some of her life on TV doesn't mean that makes okay boundaries. And what Josh did was beyond any type of appropriate, kind gesture. I mean, it's safe to say that Amy must have seen right through Josh's shady advances and whatnot. I mean, she just responded to his Instagram messages, and apparently it wasn't at all what he expected. And of course, Josh shared the messages that Amy sent him to his Instagram stories, and he claimed to be heartbroken by how she turned him down. But honestly, her reply was spot on with what everyone suspected all along. Allegedly, Amy called Josh a clout chaser and just a weird stalker, and she wanted him to go away and stressed that she didn't want to be with him. But that's not all, because not only did Amy make it known that she wasn't interested in Josh, but she also made a pretty surprising revelation. So interestingly enough, she claimed to have a man already, but the rejection didn't sit well with Josh, who reacted in a totally ridiculous way, because Josh messaged Amy to let her know that he was a good guy and he just needed a chance to prove it, and when that didn't work, he made a complete 180, and what he did next was just downright crazy, because when Josh didn't get what he wanted, he started dragging Amy in his Instagram stories. I mean, he slammed her for being a terrible person and said that he was just trying to do something nice for her, but it's obvious what his motive really was, and it was just so sad to see. And for years, Josh has been shamelessly trying to stay relevant, and he's been desperate to stay in the public eye no matter what, and it's no surprise that Amy didn't fall for his act, especially considering his recent mind-boggling behavior. And this isn't the first time Josh has faced backlash for trying to stay relevant by romanticizing a reality star, because just weeks before he was in Amy's DMs, he was connected to an entirely different TV personality, but how he handled that situation was just gross to see. So in March, Josh told In Touch Weekly that he was in a relationship with Love After Lockup Glorietta Bezos, but he showed his true colors shortly after, when his so-called amazing relationship came crashing down when Glorietta discovered that Josh had been messaging Amy. She called it quits with him and blocked him on social media, and she announced on her Instagram that he'd been falsely claiming that they were in an open relationship, which brought her to a bizarre realization. And Gloria realized that Josh only cared about his best interests, which lines up with what he's been accused of over the years. And there have been multiple times he's been criticized for using people to stay in the spotlight, and it's just painfully obvious. And Josh has been linked to 90 Day Fiancé star as well, Yolanda and Corinne and Rose and even Natalie. And he's also tried to get attention by dating another Love After Lockup cast member, Lizzie. And he's even tried to flirt online with the Sister Wives stars Christine and Mary, but they obviously weren't interested. I mean, he will seemingly do anything to stay relevant, even if it's kind of disturbing or just unwanted, but that's just creepy. But now he's also being called out for supposedly lying about something insane. So according to TV show's Ace, a source told the outlet that Josh never left anything in Amy's house, and the insider explained that they weren't any gifts by the door, not even a note or a card, but it's impossible to know what to believe. And it's possible that Josh could have left the gifts at the wrong house, but he could also just be lying about it all. But either way, he made his creepiness and unwillingness to respect women's boundaries crystal clear. And fortunately, Amy didn't waste any of her time on Josh and his sketchy intentions. But I can't help but wonder if what she thought allegedly said in her response to him is true, because Amy, claimed that she already had a man, but she might have also just been saying that to try to get Josh to leave her alone. And there haven't been any hints about who the new guy might be on her social media, but that could be because of TLC contracts, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. And as for Josh, he's had to restrict comments on his Instagram because of all the hate he's been getting for stalking Amy, but he's previously said that his critics only make him want to double down on who he's trying to pursue, which is just weird. So hopefully he just stops talking about her online. But anyway, what do you guys think about all this, and what do you think about the weird ways Josh tried to get with Amy, and what are your thoughts on Amy saying that she already had a new man? Guys, let me know in the comments below.